Hey, this is EAJ Man from Autopsy Live and the Skype Pirates. When I want to make it look like I don't give a shit about sports, I tune into Sports World Radio with Jeff Escow.
Jeff
Doing about time. Doing about time. Got myself a problem. Keeps pushing me. Keeps pushing me on. Keeps pushing. He keeps pushing me. Keeps pushing me on. Impulsive. Yes, that's true. schism. Blood-curdling screams from within. Seems the brain won't connect. I can't find a minute of peace. Hiding skills, they come next. Duplicity, it ain't easy. I struggle day by day by day. We know we're not alone. Therapists are here most every day. This life, it ain't easy. A sickness that's not going away. One day the truth will be revealed. Silent but speaking volumes is a serpent coiled upon their seal. Every child's mind is like a puzzle box, like a puzzle box. But one of the mind that stays forever locked. Early interventions, the key to it all, the key to it all. Now we lift them up and he won't let them fall. Don't know the bliss of sleep. Don't recognize their names. Shrieking for no damn reason. Won't even look at you. Let me make you all aware. The truth sticks in a doctor's throat. Whether mortal man or sorcerer now. Hypocrite of the Hippocratic oath. We the parents were never told. We the people were not prepared. But God blessed America, right? So why's the White House running scared? Every child's mind is like a puzzle box, like a puzzle box. But one of the mind that stays forever locked. Early interventions, the key to it all, the key to it all. Now we lift them up and he won't let them fall. Pharmaceutical corruption, neurological destruction, monetary seduction, human deconstruction. Every child's mind is like a puzzle box, like a puzzle box. One of the mind that stays forever locked. Early interventions, the key to it all, the key to it all. Now we lift them up and he won't let them fall. Every single child's mind like a puzzle box. But one of the mind that stays forever locked. Tell me who could cure the puzzle box? It's the key to it all. Now we lift them up and he won't let them fall.
Live from San Diego, it's Sports World Radio. You've never heard a sports show like this. Oh, no, you haven't.
Oh, blow me.
You got it.
Holy fucking shit.
What in the hell is your major malfunction?
Can't believe that goddamn son of a bitch did that fucking crap.
Don't give me any of your shit.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. Those are your hosts, Jeff Askow and Sean Mann. Remember, those who can't play sports, talk about it. These two tell it like it is. Tune into Sports World Radio for the fastest hour of sports of your life. So here they are, the douchebags of sports themselves, Jeff Eskow and Sean Mann.
Hey, what's up, everybody? And welcome to Sports World Radio. I am your host, Jeff Eskow. We got a jam-packed show for you guys today. It's the Wednesday edition of Sports World Radio. A lot of stuff to get to. Before we get to all that stuff, what do you say I let you know where you can listen to the show? You can listen to our show on SportsWorldRadio.com, also on HonestAnswerRadio.com. Also, you can connect with us on Facebook over there on Facebook.com/SportsWorldRadio. You can also connect with us and follow us on Twitter. Over there, Sports World Radio on Twitter. Now, on Twitter, there's no O in world. It's just SportsWorld. WRLD. Okay? WRLDRADIO. Sports World Radio, no O in world on Twitter. That's where we all could be followed. You can also check us out on sportsworldradio.info, our sister station, sportsworldradio.info as well. Also, we're on, where else are we on? We're everywhere, man. We're on Pinterest. We're all over the place. So check us out wherever you want. Hey, what do you say we bring in our co-host? Sports World Radio's very own Boston fan, Mr. Sean Mann, the update man. That freaking hat is disgusting, dude. You know that, right?
That hat rocks, and I'm very pleased about it. It's been 1 week, and it still feels good that the Red Sox are the defending World Series champion.
Yeah, screw 'em. How are you?
Doing good. It is cloudy and very, very cold here. Welcome, everybody, to Wednesday, November 6th, 2013. And how are you, Jeff?
I'm doing good.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm doing really good. What page are you on, Emma? I'm trying to find out. Emma can't hear the show. That kind of stinks.
Yeah, I hear other things fine on here. It is just when I get on this page that I don't hear anything.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I've tried several devices.
That's pretty wacky. That's pretty wacky. Try SportsWorldRadio.com and see if it works. Who knows? Well, I don't know. It's only her and a couple of other people. That's kind of weird. I don't understand it. So we'll see what happens. What do we got going on for the first half of the show, my friend?
Well, we got a lot of stuff going on right now. As you all know, baseball and the World Series is over, but there is a lot of transactional moves that are going on right now. Let's start in Seattle. The Seattle Mariners have found themselves a new skipper. It's not going to be Eric Wedge back there because he was let go. Apparently, the Seattle Mariners have hired Lloyd McClendon to be the next manager of the Seattle Mariners.
Who is that? McClendon, right?
Lloyd McClendon.
Yeah, Lloyd McClendon. I read that last night. He's going to be the new manager. Do you know there's 3 new managers? Well, you can't call Lloyd McClendon a new manager because he managed Pittsburgh for a while. But there's 3 new managers hired. 2 of them with no managerial experience whatsoever. Correct?
Correct. And it seems like right now, all the owners who are going after managers are going for, like, coaches, people who even played in Major League Baseball.
Well, sometimes they make the best managers. Now, Brad Osmus was hired as the Detroit manager to take over Jim Leland's spot. That team is pretty much set. You really don't have to do anything there.
Well, yeah, but the thing, Jeff, we have to keep in mind is what will Brad Osmus do with Detroit? It's going to be interesting to tell because, look, they still have Prince Fielder. They're still going to have Miguel Cabrera.
You don't have to do much. What do you have to do? Look, what did Mike Matheny have to do with St. Louis? Not much.
Well, yeah, but it'll be interesting to see because it's his first year, and when not any managerial experience, he's going to have to make sure that he puts that club
on the
field every day next year to prepare him.
Let me ask you a question. How did Mike Matheny do with no managerial experience?
He did very well.
Okay.
He took St. Louis to the National League Championship Series in 2012, and then, of course, this year ended up losing to Boston in 6 games, which I'm still enjoying.
In the World Series, right? So, in his first year, he went to the playoffs. In the second year, he went to the World Series. Not bad for somebody. And those two, especially in those 2 jobs right there, all you got to do is just plug somebody in, and that proves it because the team pretty much runs itself. All you got to do is just make those pitching changes and all that. And then you got the new manager in Cincinnati, Brian Smith, I believe his name is. Or is it Brian Price?
Well, you got Matt Williams taking over as manager for the Nationals. You got Usmus going to Detroit. There's been a lot of managerial decisions coming up. And now, of course, with Lloyd McClendon, though, he did not do a very good job with the Pittsburgh Pirates. The biggest thing is, will he do well with Seattle? That's going to be the big question. And where is Eric Wedge going to be? That's going to be another big decision, too. I see that he'll find another job somewhere. Maybe he'll go to the broadcast booth for a little bit. Be an analyst for ESPN, and then like Manny Atka, and then maybe if something pops up, he'll go right back to managing.
How about the Cubbies?
They
haven't gotten a manager
Renteria.
yet. Huh?
Rick Renteria from San Diego.
Is that who they hired now?
Yep, the Cubs made the move today and hired San Diego Padres bench coach Rick Renteria as their new manager on Thursday.
Really? On Thursday? Today's Wednesday.
That was last Thursday, but of course...
I read an article last night saying that they haven't decided who their manager was last night.
Well, that's what they're going to say. They're going to introduce San Diego Padres bench coach Rick Renteria as their new manager on Thursday, according to a source familiar with the situation.
Well, we'll see about that. Rick Renteria.
Coming from San Diego.
I've never heard that name, and I live in San Diego. What the heck is that all about?
Well, Theo Epstein had a lot of decisions he had to make. He didn't do a very good job with Dale Swaim. He wasn't very thrilled with what he had done. He tried going with looking at Eric Wedge, but they probably thought, no, might as well just go with the bench coach, and so they went with Rick Renteria. I don't know anything about the guy, especially coming to a Cubs team that has not won it in 105 years, going on 106 next year.
I don't believe that. Rick Renteria, really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I mean, that's just crazy. That's just crazy. So you got pretty much three guys who've never managed before now going, right?
But I get what you're saying too, Jeff, about Mike Matheny and what he did with St. Louis. But you have to keep in perspective that these new managers are going to teams that aren't very good. And I know the Red Sox this year went from worst to first under John Farrell. But with Renteria going to the Cubs and McClendon going to Seattle, Matt Williams going to the Nationals, we'll see what happens. Even though the Nationals, though, are a team that could still be really, really tough. They almost had a chance of getting into the wild card, but just didn't have enough. Lost it by a few games. So a lot of stuff going on right now as the offseason is in full swing. And, of course, this is the hot stove, by the way. We're only a couple weeks away from the 2013 winter meetings.
Okay, I'm looking at an article right now. It says, Renteria favorite to be Cubs skipper. Former big league infielder has been Padres bench coach. No announcement sent.
Well, let's see. Well, they just said right now that the Cubs to hire Rick Renteria. That's what I'm looking at for ESPN. Yours is probably a different source than I am.
I'm looking at ESPN. I'm looking at MLB.com. This was said at 11:30 this morning, so it is now almost 4:30 this afternoon. So things could have changed.
Yeah, things could have been changing quite a bit. The other news to report, we go back to Detroit real quickly. With Brad Usmus being the new manager of the Detroit Tigers, Jeff Jones is going to stay in Detroit as the pitching coach for the Detroit Tigers, especially for a team that'll have Verlander and Scherzer back. And, well, actually, Max Scherzer is still going to be a big decision for them. This guy was 21-2.
What kind of a big decision is it going to be? There is no decision. You keep him on the team. What do you mean, big decision? There is no decision.
Keep him on the team. You're right.
There is no decision.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going anywhere. Just like freaking Cabrera's not going anywhere. Just like Verlander's not going anywhere. And just like Prince Fielder's not going anywhere.
Well, the Tigers, it's not going to affect them with them losing Jim Leland.
Nah.
You expect that next year they will be in full contention back at this thing again because you know that they're trying to do whatever they can to bring a World Series championship to Detroit.
Yes.
They have not won it since '84.
No, I totally agree. I don't think it's going to affect them as much. Hey, look, It didn't affect Mike Matheny in the way the St. Louis Cardinals plays. I don't think it's going to affect Detroit in the way the Tigers play. Not one bit. I think they're just going to keep on. I will be shocked if they don't make the playoffs next year.
I would be shocked too, and there'd be a lot of questions saying, why didn't Detroit make it to the playoffs? No, ever since 2006, you got to keep in mind, that's when Leland really turned things around. The Tigers, of course, made it, lost the World Series in 5 to St. Louis. Took a couple of years off in 07, and then, of course, in 08, they were heavy favorites. They didn't do it in 2008, 09, kind of the same thing. It just kind of went downhill from there, but ever since then 06, 2011, 2012, and this year, being in the playoffs, Detroit's going to be a threat for years to come, especially since they got a lot of talent on their team. But the question is, can they win the big games? That's
I'm proposing a question not only to you, but everybody who's listening to the show. Whether you're in the chat room or you're just listening to the show.
We move into some NBA
did you hear
right
what,
now.
Did you hear what, did you hear what I just said? Obviously, you're not listening to me. I said I'm proposing a question to you and everybody on the show, and then you just kept going. Listen to me. I want to know your opinion on this thing that's going on in the NFL with Incognito and Martin.
Well,
I know you better than most people, and I know you've done a lot of reading on this. Right?
Yes.
You've done a lot of research and you paid attention to this more than probably anybody thinks. What's your opinion on it?
My opinion is that it's nothing but drama that's going on down there in South Beach.
You think so?
I think it's nothing but drama, and it's becoming nothing but a debacle and a mess, and it's becoming a big team distraction for the Miami Dolphins.
Because I'm looking at something right here, and it says, what does it say? Ryan Tannehill painted a different picture of the Miami locker room, saying that Richie Incognito and Martin were close friends. How about that? And now this, you've heard the voicemail and all that other stuff, right?
Right.
You've heard the voicemail that Richie Incognito left on Martin. You've heard everything that's going on. I'm sure you've watched ESPN and heard coaches and all that and what's going on, that maybe some of the coaches told them to do this and blah, 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 blah. What do you think?
Drama and ugliness. That's what I think. They need to figure out a way to resolve this, but otherwise, if they don't, it's just going to continue to become a team distraction.
Well, it already is a team distraction.
Yeah, it is, but it's going to continue if they don't get it
resolved.
Well,
they got a major problem. They just lost the left half of their line, their offensive line. Incognito and Martin gone. Okay, they got a little bit of a problem over there. They got nobody to watch the backside of Ryan Tannehill. Why do you think he's saying that? He's like, oh my God, my backside has just been taken away from me. Pretty much. Because now he's got nobody to watch it. And they got to play when? Monday night?
I think so.
Right? They play Monday night because Washington.
Take a look
right?
And see.
Yeah, no, they play Monday night because Washington and Minnesota play on Thursday night. So yeah, they play Monday night. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, at Tampa Bay.
Yeah, they play at Tampa Bay. That's gonna be. It could be Tampa Bay's first win that night. Could be very interesting. Listen, if it's bullying and harassment, if it's harassment, then it's harassment. If it's bullying, then it's bullying. But these two guys are supposedly friends, and I've never been. Well, I have been. I've been in the locker room, but you don't get as a reporter, because that's what we're under. When you're in the locker room, you don't get to spend days and hours. These guys spend every waking moment during the football season together, pretty much. They eat together. They go to meetings together. They do this together. They do that together. They're all in a group, the offensive line. And yes, there is hazing going on in the NFL for the rookies, and that's okay. There's no big deal. You know, pick up donuts on the way in, or pay a quick $1,500 tab, or something like that. It's always been like that, and I understood that, and that's just the way, get tied to a pole, and be taped there and made fun of, or have to recite your alma mater's fight song or whatever the hell it is. I mean, it's always been like that. But to do what he did to Martin is taken a little out of context. Taken not out of context, but taking it a little crazy and a little far as I'm concerned.
Well, with bullying, it's not a very good thing to do anywhere in sports teams or in school, because when you bully somebody, it's a hurtful gesture, and it's not right. And so if you're the Dolphins, that team needs to come together. They need to sit down. They need to work this out. And come with something which is called conflict resolution.
Bowling?
That's what they're talking about on ESPN, was something about bowling with this, too.
Bowling. Like as in throwing a ball at pins. Bowling. Is that what you're talking about?
Bullying.
Oh, how about bullying?
Bullying, yes.
Bullying.
I had to rephrase it.
Wow, it sounds like you said bowling. Bowling? The hell does bowling have to do with it? No, it's called bullying.
Bullying. I know. I was trying to. I was rephrasing it.
Bull. Just say bull.
Bull.
Bullying.
Bullying.
Yeah, bullying. I mean, bowling. Oh my Lord, Jiminy Cricket.
I'm
that's almost as bad as Sean.
I'm sorry. I was.
Sean, that's almost as bad as Kenny C. I love
practice what I say.
And I love my man Kenny C. But yeah, no, there's been a lot of bullying going on.
Better at it than I am when you were saying that. Yes,
and these two guys are huge. They're not like small guys. They're pretty big. It's from what I've been reading too. Some of the coaches have told incognito, hey man, go straighten this guy out. But that's not the way to do it. That's not the way to do it. You go over to him, you talk to him, you say, hey, listen, man. But now you got no left offensive line. Now you got to bring in people who haven't played. Ay. You know what I'm saying? So the picks for Saturday night are going to be kind of interesting.
They will be interesting when we do our NFL Real Talk show.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be kind of fun.
But, yeah, lots of bullying, there we go, now we fixed it, going on in Miami, but we move on. And it's becoming a distraction for the team. If I'm the Dolphins coach, I say, look, we need to gather the whole team out. We need to kind of figure out what the problem is, work through it, and realize, look, we still have a whole football season to play. Otherwise, if they don't, and this distraction continues, as Emma was saying in the chat room, ugh, is what I would say. Ugh, this is going to be pointless. I would be even sad if I'm a Dolphin fan, because what are you going to be expecting on Monday night? That this thing is just going to continue to keep going on. It's going on now, and I hope it ends soon, because I know you and I will get tired of reporting it, but we have to report it. It's part of our show. You know?
And see, the problem is everybody's talking about it and talking about it and talking about it and talking about it, and they're not talking about anything else, and there's tons of other sports going on.
Yeah, so that's one of the biggest topics in the NFL. Another NFL topic that we go on to, Wade Phillips is going to be taking over as interim head coach. As you all know, on Sunday Night Football, the Texans hosted the Indianapolis Colts, and it was kind of a sad moment as Gary Kubiak collapsed during halftime, and then now all of a sudden he has to recuperate and kind of rest. And so now
that's another thing, man. There's a lot of things happening off the field that's going on in the NFL, and more so on the field. I mean, listen, you had John Fox having his problem, then you got Kubiak having his problem, now you got this incognito Martin thing going on, and you got some other things going on, Rodgers broke his freaking collarbone. Who knows what's going to happen to him? Unbelievable what the heck's going on here in the NFL.
Darn, Jeff, you always read my mind really well. We read each other's mind really good. Yeah, I want to get to that real quickly with the Aaron Rodgers situation. This hurts the Packers big time. If you look at the standings, okay.
There's three teams at 5-3, right?
Yeah, they're 5-3. Detroit's 5-3. Chicago's 5-3. And Rodgers is going to be sidelined and out for 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
Yeah.
I need at least 4, I believe it is.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, 4 weeks. This just hurts the Packers. Does it jeopardize their playoff chances?
Yes.
Pretty much.
And if he's out more than 4 weeks, they're in trouble. Seneca Wallace, your backup? Holy freaking moly. And
Packers.
And the Packers' schedule in not 4 weeks. I know they play the Giants, and I know they play the Vikings.
You're right. I'm just looking at it right now.
I can't
Jeff,
remember
I have
the other
stats
two.
up.
I can't remember the other two teams.
They're hosting
play.
Philadelphia on Sunday afternoon. This
Philly?
Sunday.
Okay. Then they got somebody else, and then they got the Giants, and then they got the Vikings.
And then Thanksgiving.
They play Detroit, right?
Lions. They play the Lions.
Yeah. So it's right. So it's Philadelphia, right? Detroit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Giants and the Vikings, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna win one of freaking 4 games, dude. They're gonna lose their next 3 games.
Packers are in trouble now,
Yeah.
and I will be amazed to see how the next 4 weeks go for Green Bay. It's either going to be swim or sink. You'll either swim and you'll make it. Otherwise, if not, you're going to sink.
And if he's out any longer than 4 weeks, which he probably could be because it's a broken collarbone, dude, and that takes a long time to heal, okay, which he very well could be, who knows what's going to happen over there. They boof. See you later. Good night, Irene.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yep.
Unbelievable. And whatchamacallit, Vilma for the Saints.
Jonathan Velma.
Yeah, he's done too. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable, man. He's done for the season. A lot of things, man. NFL this year is just being a killer, isn't it?
Yeah, injuries and a few coaches collapsing, and my thoughts and prayers go out to John Fox. I hope that he'll recover and everything will go well. And I don't think that this is going to hurt the Broncos. You know, Jack Del Rio, real quickly, he's going to come in there and take over as interim coach. Broncos will be fine, but Denver knows perfectly well they have a huge game, and I do mean a huge game coming up against Kansas City. I believe it's going to be this weekend, and like you and I have said, these 2 games are going to tell who wins the AFC West.
Kansas City, what week is this? Week 10?
This is week number 11, Jeff. Actually, week 10.
This
10.
is week 10.
And actually, they're...
Kansas City has a bye this week.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just looking at it now.
I know for a fact Kansas City has a bye this week. Denver and San Diego are playing each other this week.
Yeah, that's right. Just getting it... well, for Denver, this is going to be critical too. You're, playing the Chargers, and San Diego's 4-4, but they can always be tough in San Diego. Then it's amazing. Kansas City at New England at Kansas City, right there is going to really tell how the AFC West goes. And right now, I can't believe I'm saying it. It looks like Kansas City has the advantage to win the AFC West. But we'll see how well the 2 games go between the 2 teams. I can't wait until we do our NFL Real Talk shows and we kind of discuss the pick between Denver and Kansas City.
Well, next week, Denver and Kansas City play each other. And then the week after that, Kansas City plays San Diego. And then the week after that, Kansas City and Denver play each other again. So here comes their 3 tough games of the year, I think, so far. Their back end of their schedule is really hard.
Yeah.
Games 11 and from on are really tough, I think. And they're 9-0, KC.
And what have they been saying all along? Why the Chiefs have been so tough? It's because of their secondary. That's the big reason why they have been winning. Even a lot of the close games they've won, their secondary has really stepped up when it's mattered.
It's going to be the number 1 defense against the number 1 offense in the NFL.
And
That's
maybe,
what it's
Jeff,
come down to.
maybe it's a playoff preview between Kansas City and Denver, because the last time the Chiefs and the Broncos played each other in the playoffs, you got to go all the way back to, I believe it was 1998. And that was when Marty Schottenheimer was coach of Kansas City against John Elway, and Denver barely squeaked the game out 14-10. I remember I watched the game, and everybody didn't even think that the Broncos were going to win in Kansas City, but Denver did, just barely, though.
Well, I'm going to be rooting for Kansas City. And with Denver losing John Fox, that might hurt a little bit because Jack Del Rio sucks as a head coach as far as I'm concerned. He's a great defensive coordinator, but he's not such a good head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And over
Yeah,
there,
he coached your Giants. I remember he was the defensive coordinator, too.
and over there on he was the head coach for Jacksonville for a long time, and look what they did over there. Nothing. But also Wade Phillips, who's taking over for Kubiak, who had a mini stroke.
Yep.
Wade Phillips is a great defensive coordinator. Not such a great head coach, but a great defensive coordinator. So pay attention to those two teams. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I'll be amazed to see what happens. If you're ready, we can head to an update.
What do you say we do that? This update is brought to you by BuyHuntingEquipment.com. For all your camping, fishing, hiking, and outdoor gear, head on over to BuyHuntingEquipment.com. And with the holidays coming up, holiday shopping is starting. Head on over to BuyHuntingEquipment.com and get your loved one something that has to do with the outdoors. BuyHuntingEquipment.com. Take it away, Sean, man.
All right, Jeff. Thank you, everybody, and welcome to the Sports World Radio show. We have got an update for you ready to go. Let's start with, of course, Major League Baseball. Already it's been a week since the World Series has come to an end, of course, with the Red Sox winning the World Series. Woo! But there's a lot of other news coming across Major League Baseball. Starting with Detroit. The Detroit Tigers have hired Brad Ausmus as their new manager. Rick Renteria is expected to be named the new manager of the Chicago Cubs. There's no official confirmation of that, however. The Seattle Mariners are going to hire Lloyd McClendon as the next manager of the team. David DeJesus agreed to a $10.5 million 2-year deal to stay with the Tampa Bay Rays. And in other news, Brian McCann is testing the free agent market. There will be a number of teams out there looking for him. And, of course, as you all know, Derek Jeter, of course, re-signed with the Yankees. He signed a 1-year, $12 million deal, as pointed out last week. And that's kind of the news coming from Major League Baseball. There's a lot of stuff going on. We're only a couple weeks away from the 2013 winter meetings in a couple weeks. Because it won't be long, and baseball spring training will happen in February. But we've got a ways to go for that. Because everybody pretty much is now focusing on the NFL, NBA, and, of course, the NHL. Speaking of which, let's kind of let everybody know what's going on in the NBA right now. Sad news to report for the New York Knicks. I know Jeff will be talking about this. Tyson Chandler is going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, as the Knicks are in a bit of a slump right now and kind of struggling right at the very beginning. After one quarter of play in Charlotte, North Carolina, the Charlotte Bobcats lead the Toronto Raptors by a score of 32-18. 1 minute and 29 seconds left in Indianapolis, Indiana. The Indiana Pacers lead 23-15. Indiana is off to a really good start. 1 quarter of play done in Orlando, Florida. The Orlando Magic lead the Los Angeles Clippers by a score of 29-20. After a quarter of play in Philadelphia, the Washington Wizards have a 39-27 lead over the 76ers. Two teams that have not even won a game yet in the NBA. You have the 0-4 Utah Jazz taking on the 0-4 Boston Celtics. Will this be the night that Brad Stevens gets his first ever win as an NBA coach? He's still searching and hoping that'll happen. The New Orleans Pelicans are taking on the Memphis Grizzlies, the Cleveland Cavaliers at the Milwaukee Bucks, Golden State Warriors at the Minnesota Timberwolves, Phoenix Suns at the San Antonio Spurs, and the final game, it'll be the Dallas Mavericks at the Oklahoma City Thunder. We move to the National Hockey League. There are 4 games on tap for tonight. The Pittsburgh Penguins are taking on the New York Rangers, Winnipeg Jets at the Chicago Blackhawks, Nashville Predators at the Colorado Avalanche, and the Phoenix Coyotes are taking on the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. Those are the 4 games. Finals from last night from the NHL. In a shootout, the Boston Bruins, the defending Eastern Conference champions, hosted the Dallas Stars and, of course, losing 3-2 in the shootout. The Washington Capitals over the New York Islanders 6-2. Ottawa Senators over the Columbus Blue Jackets 4-1. The St. Louis Blues in a shootout over the Montreal Canadiens 3-2. In final overtime, the Edmonton Oilers 4, Florida Panthers 3. The Carolina Hurricanes in overtime over the Philadelphia Flyers by a score of 2-1. The Minnesota Wild over the Flames by a score of 5-1. In a shootout, the Phoenix Coyotes over the Vancouver Canucks by a score of 3-2. And the Buffalo Sabres beat the San Jose Sharks by a score of 5-4 in the shootout. In other news to report from Major League, actually not Major League Baseball, but in the NFL, of course, we have a game tomorrow night. Thursday night football on NFL Network. This game will feature two teams that are pretty much out of playoff contention, although you can't rule out the Redskins, especially when they went out and went on a hot streak. They'll take on the Minnesota Vikings. The Redskins, of course, are 3-5, only a few games back of Dallas in the NFC East, taking on a Vikings team which is 1-7 and really is struggling, especially with their quarterback situation. So Week 11 starts tomorrow night for the NFL. For your update for Sports World Radio, I am Sean Mann. Back to you, Jeff Eskow, who is host of Sports World Radio.
All right, that update was brought to you by BuyHuntingEquipment.com. For all your camping, fishing, hiking, and outdoor gear, head on over to BuyHuntingEquipment.com. That's BuyHuntingEquipment.com, and start your holiday shopping early. BuyHuntingEquipment.com. All right, welcome back to the show. What's the next topic there, Mr. Sean Mann, the update man?
We're going to start with the NBA, and of course, Tyson Chandler for the Knicks out 4 to 6 weeks. I know, Jeff, this has got to be really tough for you to take as a Knicks fan.
Yeah, I know. I'm not too happy about it right now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too happy. 4 to 6 weeks with a fractured, what was that word? Tibula, I think it was, or something like that, somewhere around there, 4 to 6 weeks. He's going to be out. That's not going to be good for the Knicks. But they do have a lot of big guys on the team. I'm sure they will probably activate Cole Aldridge, who used to be in Kansas, and he'll get some playing time now. They got Meta World Peace over there. They got another 7-footer over there from Toronto who used to play for Toronto. But he came into shape, you know, a little more stronger, a little more faster, a little bit more footer like he did the first year he was there. He was looking to have a big year. We'll see what happens.
So, yeah, Tyson Chandler for the New York Knicks, he will be out. It's a non-displaced fracture on his right fibula and is expected to miss, of course, 4 to 6 weeks. And, of course, there's concern with the Knicks. There's a little bit of concern, and I know it's early, though, but the Knicks need to realize and understand that there's a lot of expectation, especially with the fact that they went all the way the second round before they lost in 6 games to Indiana last year.
Well, if you've been paying attention and watching most, most of the NBA shows, you'll know that most of the people out there who are predicting crap are not even giving the Knicks a top 4 ranking in the East.
And, of course, the power rankings can always change.
Yeah, but everybody is saying they're not going to win as many games as they did last year, blah, 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 did this and that, and they're not going to go far, whatever. Let them talk. I don't really care. But as the way they're playing right now, everybody's absolutely right. What are they, 1-3, 1-4, something like that?
The Knicks really are currently 1-3. At least you're doing better than my Boston Celtics are, because they're just... Well, you knew very well. Why do you think I eliminated the Celtics last week on Friday's show? Because expectations are not going to be very good for the Celtics. I know for a fact, because new coach, new system, and I just have to be patient because then Brad Stevens is going to have to work on it.
Right. And speaking of that, on Friday's show, Sean and I will be doing our NBA elimination round again, where we'll be getting rid of 2 NBA teams every Friday until one is left, and that's the team we think will be the NBA champion. And then also this Friday in the second half of the show, we're going to be giving out our end-year awards in Major League Baseball. That's coming on Friday as well. So get ready for our Friday show for that. Both of those will be in the second half of the show. All right, what's next, my friend?
Jeff, Ron Gallo would like to come in
Oh,
and
is
give
he
some
ready?
hockey perspective.
Is he ready now, Mr. Gallo?
He just sent me a message.
All right, what do you say we get that hockey bastard in here?
Okay.
Well, tell him to... Okay, you know what I'm saying to you? Where is he? Wherever you're talking to him, tell him to call the show like he did last time. That's how I want you to type it to him. Just tell... Oh, see, look, he's already... Oh, that's the wrong one, dude. I knew I should have done that, and I have to do that because everybody's bothering me on this Skype, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. What's our next topic? He'll figure it out.
I'll wait until you get it all settled here. But
What's our
yeah,
next
that's
topic?
some of the news from the NBA, Tyson Chandler. The next one we kind of get to are the standings of the NBA. As you all know, it's very, very early, of course.
Still early.
Indiana, of course, is 4-0. And Jeff, I mentioned about the Pacers playing really well. Can Indiana be the team to beat in the Eastern Conference? Can they actually overtake Miami? Everybody's wondering, is there going to be a team out there that can do it?
I sure as heck hope so. I sure as heck hope so, man, because if there's not, then we got to sit here and watch this crap again. And I don't feel like watching the Miami Heat win this thing again.
Well, remember, before this season began, everybody said Miami is the team to beat. Everybody wants to beat them. Everybody wants to take them out. We'll see what happens. Philadelphia, 3-1. They're talking about the 76ers, and I have to agree with George Karl, though, the NBA ESPN analyst, because I still don't know if Philadelphia is strong enough to be a legitimate playoff contender. We'll see how well things go.
There's Mr. Ron Gallo. I knew he'd figure it out. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Ron.
Are you there, pal?
Give me enough time, I'll figure it out, eh?
I knew you would. It's just like last time when you were doing the show with me.
All right, how's
Man,
everybody?
here.
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Not too bad. I see that Sean's got his World Series pennant trophy all up there and ready to go.
Yeah, I love it.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
See what I mean? We got to listen to this
We
crap
are the
all year, man.
champions.
You know? We got to listen to this thing all year. I don't think they're going to be the same thing. They gave offers to 3 players for $14.1 million, and I bet you 2 of them ain't going to take it. So they'll probably
You know what?
end up
I am
losing
a Red
2 of them.
Sox fan for life, so you can just zip it there, Jeff. I'm happy that they won the World Series because I can stick it in your face, just like how you guys stick it in my face when the Bruins lost the cup to those stupid Blackhawks.
And one thing, Sean, that
What?
hat with that jacket on Facebook looks disgusting.
I like that jacket. It makes me feel very, very...
I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does, bathroom boy.
Because we are the champions. That's right. I was
I
rocking
am
and
the-
rolling ready to go on Wednesday night.
We are the champions. You're the champions of bathrooms.
I was just going to say that. He's the champion of the bathroom visit.
That's right. You know why he's always thinking about bathrooms? I finally
Why?
figured it out. I know why now. Because that's what he does. That's what he does. That's his job.
I don't have to clean bathrooms. I have to take care of garbages and wipe sinks and clean up milk messes. How do you
See?
think that makes
and,
any...
and milk messes. He
I had to do it last night at work, and I was pretty PO'd.
He said milk. He didn't say like Pepsi or Coke. Milk.
I was drinking a
word.
Coke so I could keep myself awake
Ay,
during work
Jesus
since I got
Christ.
done late.
All right, bathroom boy. All right, bathroom boy. Hey, Emma, for you today, we brought in our friend Ron Gallo from the upper north out there in Canada, to talk about
A.
hockey for you, How about that?
Speaking of A, let's start with the World Junior A Championships that are going on the east coast of Canada. The reason why I wanted to bring this up to you is because the United States right now is playing Canada East, and the U.S. lead 1-0 after the first period of play.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
There you go. This is a big deal. This is the World Junior A Challenge. This is an opportunity for some of the lesser-known players in the game of hockey to get an opportunity to try and show their stuff in front of NHL scouts and NCAA schools and, various other amateur and semi-pro and professional scouts that are in attendance. This is a big deal for players that wouldn't otherwise have ever had an opportunity to showcase their skills at a high level. So the World Junior A Challenge, it's in their 8th season. Team USA has 4 golds, and Team Canada West has 3 golds. This is year number 8, so of course we're still waiting to find out who wins the 8th gold medal. Right now, I can tell you that Team Canada West has advanced to the semifinals, winning their preliminary rounds 2-0. They beat the Switzerland team, and they beat the Czech Republic yesterday. And I'm very happy to say that our goaltender from the Spruce Kings got the start in both games and picked up the win in both games. So he's well on his way to picking up a gold medal.
Nice. I'm watching the... Since you came on the air, whenever you come on the show, I always flip on the Versus channel to see if hockey's on.
And
right now I'm watching the Pittsburgh Penguins play the New York Rangers.
Well, there you go. And that's a live game, by the way. Pittsburgh and New York Rangers are scoreless right now. That game's in the first period of play. By the way, it is a game being played in the MSG, Madison Square Gardens.
The new MSG, from what I understand.
You're saying it got ruined by the billion-dollar upgrades?
I don't know. I haven't really had a chance to. I've seen little bits and pieces of it, pictures of it and stuff like that, but you really can't tell anything until you're actually inside of it. And I was in the old Madison Square Garden, so I will definitely be able to tell.
Okay, well, one of the big things that you notice right away, you've been in the Madison Square Garden, so you know when you climb up the stairs to get into your seats, when you get into the stand section, that score clock is massive as you come out of the tunnel.
Is it really? Now it's huge as all heck now, huh?
It is. It definitely fills up the horizon as you come through that stairwell.
Wow. I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to have to see if I can see some good pictures. Plus, I understand they did some really good things for when they do basketball games there as well, man.
I haven't seen the basketball games yet, but for sure there are supposed to be the upgrades, the $1 billion worth of upgrades. We're not just for hockey, of course, but of course take into consideration the basketball as well.
Yeah, they put in a lot of new boxes, too. The freaking light went off prematurely, jackass. Way to go there, score judge.
Unfortunately for the New York Rangers, they've been struggling a little bit. This is their 5th game at the Madison Square Gardens. Their home opener was a loss. It was a shutout loss to the Montreal Canadiens. They since came back and have won 2 games on home ice, but they are 2-2 heading into this, their 5th game being played at MSG. They started the season on a 9-game road swing.
How the heck was that a freaking penalty, man? What did he get called for? Interference? That's a gay penalty. Interference.
Coming from the guy who's a big Ranger fan. I'm happy about the Bruins.
Not a Rangers fan.
Well.
I didn't grow up a Rangers fan. I grew up an Islanders fan. And speaking of Islanders fans, and even if you're not, if you're a hockey fan, there's something on ESPN. I think I told you about this there, Mr. Ron.
The Big Shot.
Yes. Did you see it?
It was on last weekend. I only got to see bits and pieces of it because I was traveling with the Spruce Kings last weekend. But you know what? This is a huge little story. This is almost a coup. This might be the biggest coup in sports ever. A guy who has literally no money ends up buying an NHL franchise.
None. Zip. Zilch. Zero. And he got a bank to give him a letter saying he has $80 million.
I know. That's just...
So he can go buy the team. How crazy. He bought the team with no money down. How crazy is that?
It would never happen today. But you know what? So many things happen. And then all of a sudden you kind of learn how it's being done, and it never happens again. But absolutely. I mean, that was amazing.
You have to see that whole thing. Anybody who has a chance. I know Emma, who's hanging out in the house, she's a big, huge hockey fan.
She's got to watch it.
Yeah, she didn't know you were coming on today, so it's kind of cool that you're here. She's a big hockey fan, and it's what was it, 30 and 30, right? It's their ESPN 30 and 30 that they did, right?
Yeah, and north of the border, it's still called 30 on 30, and it's showing on the TSN network in Canada. But in the States, it's an ESPN
30 and 30
show,
right?
And it's very well done.
You probably go to ESPN and see if you can find it over there and look for their 30 and 30 stuff and go and find it. It's called Big Shot, It's all about the New York Islanders, and it's about the Islanders back in the 80s, from about 84 to 85, right?
Yeah, and think about that. I mean, when you go back to the 1980s, the mid-1980s, the New York Islanders
were awesome.
They 4 Stanley Cups in 4 consecutive seasons.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, in those 4 years, they played the most overtimes of all time.
That I believe is correct.
In every series, right? In every series, it seemed like almost in every game. It seemed like they were playing at least one overtime in every game. I remember sitting there watching 3-4 overtimes in games, and not just one game. Right?
I was going to say, Jeff, when you think about it, a team in the East that has to play overtimes and multiple overtime periods, people go to bed, they wake up in the morning, and they don't know what the final score is not because the game is still being played, but because the media has that cutoff time,
right,
and the game is being played past that media cutoff time. Mm-hmm. They sometimes have to wait 2 days to find out that the New York Islanders won.
I remember, back in those days, I remember watching games until 2 o'clock in the morning. The cutoff.
I was part of a game that went till 2 o'clock in the morning.
The cutoff games used to be at 2 o'clock in the morning. The cutoff point, way back then, back in the late 70s and early 80s is when they got rid of it.
Yeah.
So right before the Islanders, right as the Islanders were making their move, it was right in the middle. So that's why those 4. I remember watching 4 or 5. Especially when they played a lot. Remember, back in those days, they played a lot of day hockey. A lot of playoff games were on during the day, right?
Well, especially out east. The reason why is because if you played at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, or if you played at 7 o'clock at night, it was 4 o'clock out east. But the thing is, out west. But the games out west that were being played at 7 o'clock Pacific time were being played at 10 o'clock out east, and that wasn't working. So what they were doing is you're right, they were playing daytime games out east so that the evening you could still see the game out west.
Correct. Yeah, I remember watching a game start at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Damn thing didn't till end at 8 o'clock at night. Hello? 7 hours. Me and my buddies watching the Island for 7 hours. Are you kidding me? 7. Yeah. I mean, 4 hours, 4, 5 overtimes. And back in those days, they did it game after game after game. And they didn't have a lot of rest back in those days like they do nowadays, man.
No, there wasn't the rest, and also the game itself. I mean, right now the game is a lot of speed, but back then the game was very physical. There was a lot of hitting. There was walking wounded after every game, and then they had to go and lace up the skates and play again the very next day.
Nowadays, you play one day, you get the next day off, you play the next day, right?
That's right.
In playoffs.
And if there's any threat of an injury, Jeff, you're looking at sometimes having an extra 3, 4, even 5 days off until the doctor clears you again.
Right. So, I mean, back in those days, you play one day, you play game 1 on a Monday, you're playing game 2 on a Tuesday. So if you got your ass all beat up Monday, your ass all beat up Tuesdays going into the game of playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? That's when hockey was hockey back then.
The last thing I wanted to say about that whole show, the Big Shot, 30 on 30, I was mentioning that'll never happen again.
No.
I don't know if you guys remember the name Jim Balsillie, but he was the owner of BlackBerry, and he made a bid to have an NHL team. This guy had billions of dollars backing him because of the BlackBerry Corporation. At the time, they're struggling today, but at the time, BlackBerry was big, and Jim Balsillie had a ton of cash. He actually had the cash, but because he was a little bit egocentric and he had a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, the NHL and the NHL governors all voted against him having an NHL team and becoming an owner.
Well, kind of like what the MLB is doing to Mark Cuban.
Well, yeah. I mean, Cuban. He's got the money for it. I mean, he could do it. He could run it. But I wonder if the MLB is a little bit worried about how the game would change when you have an owner that is that involved with the team on the court or on the field. I mean, he's right there courtside, and he's one of the most emotional fans.
I know,
but he's the owner,
and that might change after Selig leaves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? After Bud Selig is no longer commissioner, he might be able to get a team, though.
Yeah, maybe then after that. Yeah, you're right.
Why doesn't he deserve one? Because Bud Selig doesn't want him to have one? Who the hell is Bud Selig?
Well, again, you've got to think, though, that Bud Selig, like Gary Bettman, is being driven by his stakeholders, and his stakeholders are the existing NHL owners or the existing MLB owners.
Okay, so what's going on in hockey? Because that's what we brought you in here.
Okay, so with the hockey, what's going on? Really, it's been kind of quiet here the last couple of weeks. There's not been a ton. Certainly, there's been some big games. There's really been nothing. There's been a couple of injuries. There was one of the bigger injuries this last weekend was actually a player ended up hitting his own player on his own team and gave him a concussion. He missed the target and hit his own man. Anyways, I mean that's immaterial. What it goes to, I guess, is just the game has changed a little bit, and in some respects, it's not that great. There was an announcement today. There isn't a retirement. There is a retirement, today that was announced. Why am I drawing a blank? He's had 18 seasons in the NHL.
I saw that. I saw that on NHLRealTalk.com. What the heck is his name?
Jason Arnott.
That's it. Thank you.
Yeah. And Anaheim Ducks, Timo Solani will be returning after injury. He'll be playing tonight against the Phoenix Coyotes.
Okay.
What else? There's not a ton. The Colorado Avalanche tomorrow have an opportunity to make another shot at history on Wednesday night. That's tonight. When they play later tonight, they'll play Nashville. But if they defeat the Nashville Predators, and they're at home for this game, by the way, Jeff, the win would give them a 13-1-0 record, which would match the 2007-08 Ottawa Senators as the only other team in the league's history to begin a season with 13 wins in their first 14 games. So came very, very close to actually setting a record. What he would need to do then is he would need to win game number 14 tonight. That's Patrick Waugh we're talking about. But also win their next game later in the week when the Colorado Avalanche play game number 15. So tonight, 12-1 Colorado Avalanche taking on the Nashville Predators.
Okay, so before you get the heck out of here, I always like to ask you, I ask you every time you come in here, how are the Spruce Kings doing?
Spruce Kings are doing extremely well. This is despite a major setback with injuries. Jake LeBrun is still about 2 weeks away from returning. He's a local boy, was leading the BC Hockey League, was recognized nationally as being one of the top players for the month of September, got hit with a dangerous hit from behind, is now skating with the team after a month, but is still about a week and a half to 10 days away from returning. Bryant Christian took a puck. He's from Moorhead, Minnesota. He took a puck in the jaw. He's got a broken jaw, so he's out until Christmas. We have 2 other concussions. We have a sprained ankle, and we have a goaltender away at the World Junior A Challenge. Somehow, the Spruce Kings have still managed to string together 4 straight wins and bookended them with overtime decisions. They've got points in 6 games straight, despite being short-bodied 6 players.
Wow. A lot of stuff going on over there, huh? Even though they're banged up, they're doing well.
Yeah, Friday night I'm in Trail. Trail is a little community outside of the U.S. border, just above Spokane, Washington. The Spruce Kings' next game can be heard. I'm going to shameless plug. If you want to listen in at 7 p.m. Pacific time, MIXLR, Mixler.com/Spruce Kings. I'll have the broadcast on Mixler.com.
There you go, the play-by-play announcer
Ron,
for Spruce Kings.
You're going to be close to Spokane? Oh, sweet. If you could, maybe I can meet you there. Huh?
He's not going to Spokane.
I won't be able to cross the border. They don't let me into the States yet, Sean.
Booey! Darn it.
Maybe you should drive up to see the game and then see him.
Oh, boy.
There you go.
Ron, I'll show you all the Red Sox gear I'll have on. I'll even show you my 2013 hat.
He'll notice you in the building because you'll see all that crap on your body. He'll notice that that's you.
Hey, Sean, this one's for you. The Prince George Spruce Kings, with all of their injury woes, had to make a trade last week. On Thursday, they picked up a kid named Mike Iovana, who is going to be playing NCAA hockey at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst. He is he's from Middleton, Mass, and he is a huge Boston. He's the Sean of hockey. When it comes to Boston, he loves everything Boston. So if you come up to Trail, I'll introduce you to Mike Iovana.
I would be happy to do that. I know. I'm so glad you guys really like all the Boston gear. It's always my pleasure. Jeff, I'm glad I like the profile picture. I did that
I
just
don't.
for you.
I don't. Who said I do? I don't. I never liked it. I never seen it, and I won't look at it.
8 championships in 11 years?
That's not my problem.
City of Champions in Titletown.
Yeah, right. It's not my problem. All of a sudden, now that they've won a couple of championships, look at them. Championships, look at them.
How about when the Bruins won in 2011? You know, I was happy when that happened. Yeah.
Okay, hey, I've got to leave you guys with 2 quick questions. Sean, this is a yes or a no answer. Can the Boston Red Sox repeat?
No.
Yes.
And number 2, did you guys get a chance to check out Andrew Wiggins, like I said, from NCAA, Kansas?
Yes, and they've been saying a lot about him on ESPN. They've been talking a lot about him. I've been paying attention, yes.
I told you I'd give you that Canadian's name, and the next thing you know, you'd be hearing him all the time.
Yes, I did. They were talking about it. I said, wait a second. I've heard that name, and then I was paying attention. So, yes, I did. So you're absolutely correct, my friend.
All right, you guys, you take care. You guys have a great weekend. I know it's only Wednesday right now, but we're on the bus again, heading out for a 14-hour trip to Trail, British Columbia, just outside of Spokane, Washington.
Well, be safe, my friend, and we'll talk to you next week.
Ron, I hopefully will talk with you actually in 2 weeks. I'm going to be going to Washington, D.C. on Sunday.
There you go. He'll be gone for weeks. See ya. Take care, Ron.
See ya.
And there goes our good friend, Ron Gallo. And you want to know something? That's about all the time we have for today's show. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us here on Sports World Radio. That is Sean Mann. I am Jeff Eskow. This has been Sports World Radio. Until tomorrow, my friends, remember, you only have one life to live. Live it long, live it strong, and live it proud. I forgot the rest, Sean. Life, what is it?
Suck, but the alternative is
unacceptable. Wow, I drew a blank on that once again. Sorry about that, kids. Take care, and have a good sports night. Peace out.
Good night.
Hey, boy, Stimpy. We sure had fun today, didn't we? So long, kids. Come on, Stimpy, say goodbye.
Where are we going?
The show's over. See you next time.
Next time? When's that?
Pretty soon. Don't worry.
Pretty soon?